Moving is a huge undertaking all on its own, and relocating can add a whole other level of stress and potential complications. No matter where you're moving to, these 10 tips can help make your relocation a success. Hi, I'm Maria Diora with eXp Realty. As a real estate agent, I have seen all the stress that comes from moving, so I put these tips together to help you have a smoother move. I'm also going to share with you my personal experience when the movers I hired to move my family stole my wedding ring and tips on how you can help safeguard your valuables when you move. So, tip number one, visit before you move. You want to get a sense of the layout of the city, what the culture is like. You want to know if you're going to be comfortable living in that new place, and you want to set a budget. So, figure out exactly if the salary you're making now is going to be different. How much is the rent? How much are groceries? How much is gas? Think about all those things and compare your income to the new cost of living. So, tip number two, decide what's important to you before you visit. Once you get to a new place, it can be a lot of running around and you're not really focused on what you actually want. So, think about it before you go. Do you know where your job's going to be? Do you want a short commute? Are you interested in schools? Are the school ratings important to you? Is it important to you to be near a hospital or your doctor's office? Do you want to be close to parks or downtown or shopping? Make sure that you share what's important to you with the real estate agent you're working with in your new city so that they can find you a home that meets your needs. Tip number three, start purging now before you start packing. Donate items you no longer want. Donate things that you can easily replace and aren't that expensive. If you have things that are more valuable, try selling them before you start packing. That way, you don't have to pay to move things that aren't that important to you or that are easily replaceable because every single item and every box that you add to your move is going to cost you a lot more to move. And moving can be expensive. Tip number four, start collecting moving boxes. They can be expensive to buy brand new moving boxes, and most people don't realize just how many boxes they're going to need before they start packing. And it starts getting really expensive to buy those boxes. You can get free boxes from grocery stores. Talk to the produce manager because oftentimes they'll let you know what days that they start unloading the produce into the store, and they can even save some of the boxes for you. Check on social media because people that have recently moved in your area might be ready to part with their boxes. And a lot of times they're really happy for you to just come pick them up and take them away. Also, if you're having trouble getting boxes, ask your real estate agent. They might have another client that's moving. They might be able to connect you with a store that they already are in contact with for saving boxes. And it might save you a lot of time and aggravation to get those boxes doing it that way. Tip number five, label your boxes. You can use labels where you peel and stick them on, or you can get different set of colored markers, which is the way that I like to go is colored markers and color code each of the boxes to match the room. So maybe kitchen is green and, bathroom is blue, something like that. You get the idea. But label more than one side. This is really key because think about when boxes start stacking up. If you aren't paying attention to what side you set them down on, you might have a stack of boxes and you can't see what the labels say. And it makes it really hard to move them into the right rooms when you're having to do extra physical work by twisting the boxes around just to see the label side. So label more than one side of the box. In fact, if you can label all of them, it's probably best. Tip number six, pack a necessities box for each person. What do I mean by that? When you're moving, you start packing all your belongings away, but there are certain things that you need right up until the last day that you leave your home. So you want to have a box set aside to put all those necessities that you were using right up until the last minute in a box and labeled for each person. So you might have like their pillow, their blanket, their toothbrush, things like that. If you're traveling far and it's going to take you a couple of days to get to your new house, put those things in a suitcase like you're packing to travel instead of a box. But each person should still have a necessity box with the things I mentioned before, like the pillow, the blanket, things that they need for their bed, because and you want those to be the last box into the truck so that it's the first box off the truck. So when you get to where you're moving, you can easily open it up, get settled for the night, get some rest. You get the idea. And you also want to have a necessities box for your kitchen, for your bathroom, and for your electronics. And you want all of those boxes to be the last on the truck, again, so that they're first ones into your new home. Tip number 7, hiring movers. If you need to hire movers and you're not just packing a U-Haul and driving it yourself, you need to plan ahead. Movers these days are getting booked up way ahead of time, and you don't want them to book you and then be overbooked and then at the last minute cancel on you, because I've heard of this happening to a lot of people where they scheduled a mover, Maybe they waited too long. The mover said yes, but then when it came down to the day of moving, the mover said, sorry, we can't do it. And when you're moving and you have a deadline to move out of your home, this can really be a problem. Shop around for movers, get quotes, and most importantly, get recommendations from people you already know. And don't forget to check those online reviews, because I'm going to tell you a story later on in this video you're not going to want to miss about my horrible experience when my ring was stolen by my movers. And I don't want that to happen to you. Tip number 8, don't forget to cancel services and change your address with the U.S. Postal Service. Stop utilities, transfer utilities, and if you're moving it out of the area, chances are utilities are not going to be with the same company. So make sure you find out before you move what the new utility companies are so that you can establish accounts with them. Sometimes they may require a deposit if you've never worked with them before. And when you notify the U.S. Postal Service, make sure you put a date of when you'll be in your new home. If there's a gap, like maybe you're traveling across country or it's going to take you a few days, or you're not moving into your new house for a week and you'll be in temporary housing, you don't want your mail going there before you actually get there. So put a hold on your mail and then have it sent when you're actually in your new home. And if you're like me and you order a lot online, be sure to change the ship to address on those accounts. For example, Amazon. When I order from Amazon, I'm very click, ship. So I can imagine that I might move, not even think twice about it because things have been so busy, and just do my regular order, ship, and well, my items are going back to my old house. So change those things. Make sure you give yourself a reminder to do it on the right day. You don't want your stuff going to your old house. Tip number 9, if you're moving for a job, try to get to know your new coworkers before you move. New coworkers can be a great resource for you about things in your new area because they already live there. And, if you don't know anybody in your new town, those new coworkers are going to be your first contact, possibly of your first new social network. So try to get to know them ahead of time. And tip number 10, when in doubt, just ask your real estate agent. Your agent that's selling your house where you currently live can often recommend an agent in your new area to help you buy your new house. And this would be the best case scenario because the two agents know each other, they can work together, communicate directly with each other. So there's no you having to go back and forth, especially when communicating about timelines, like when you're closing on your sale, when you need to into your new house, and the transition period in between. You have enough to do with getting moved. You don't need to also communicate back and forth between your two agents. They can talk to each other, and it's way better if they already know each other. And here's a bonus tip. Protect your valuables as best you can. I have a horror story about this that happened to me personally. The last time we moved, I wasn't ready when the movers showed up. They were scheduled to come at 9 o'clock in the morning, and they came at 7 a.m. There were a few more things I still needed to do, like take a shower, get dressed, things like that. When they showed up knocking at the door, I was still in bed, and so were my kids. So I had a 4-month-old and a 2-year-old at the time. So can you imagine trying to get a baby up, a 2-year-old, get them fed while the movers are taking everything out? And I hadn't even gotten dressed myself. So it was a really chaotic, frantic moment in time. And what I ended up doing, because I hadn't packed up my bathroom yet, because that was going to be my last thing right before they showed up, is I put some things in the bathroom that I didn't want them to move, things that I was going to take myself because I was worried that they were going to get broken. It was like a lamp and a mirror that was special to us. I put those in the bathroom. I closed the bathroom door and I told them, nothing in there gets moved. I'll come back for it later. So the movers went. I took the kids out. We actually waited in the car so we could follow them over. They unloaded the house rather quickly. They went to the new house. Anyway, by the end of the night, we were getting ready for bed in our new house, and I realized that I had left some things I needed in my bathroom, the things I didn't get to use that morning. So I went back to the old house, which was not that far away, so it was super easy to do. We only moved like 3 miles, and went into the bathroom, and I immediately realized I wasn't wearing my ring. And I thought, oh my gosh, because when I got up in the morning, I was going to put it on like I normally do, but it was so frantic, I never did. And it was still in the drawer in the bathroom. Well, I went in the bathroom, opened the drawer, ring wasn't there. So that's what happened to me. My wedding ring and my engagement ring were stolen during our move by the movers. Now, I had bought the extra move insurance, which I thought, okay, this is probably going to come into place. I put in a claim. Now, this is where the key is. I bought moving insurance from the movers, which I never, ever would recommend doing again. To buy true insurance, call your insurance agent. Ask them what they recommend. Ask them if there's something you can add onto your policy to cover things. If there's not, consider getting additional rider insurance on those particular items just to be extra safe. Luckily, I did have an insurance policy on my ring, so it was covered. However, it wasn't covered at full replacement value because it had been almost 10 years since it had been last appraised, and the value of things have gone up since then. So I was partially covered, but not fully covered for replacement value. And it was a really sad day when we should have been really happy being in our new house. So don't let that happen to you. The movers insurance denied the claim. They never paid a dime. The movers were threatening me because I'd given them a bad review. They swore that their people would never steal anything. But the thing is, it was only me in the house. And I stayed there until the movers left and I was outside, which was part of the problem. And then I went back and locked the door. So nobody had been back into our house since that morning when the movers walked out. They were the last people out. So I know 100% they stole my ring. I searched Craigslist. I searched every single sales place online to see if I could find them trying to sell it. I never did find my ring. I never did get it back. Anyway, so don't let that happen to you. Valuables. Get insurance. Get good insurance, not the insurance that the movers are going to try to sell you because it's worthless. If you're thinking about moving soon, and especially if you're going to be relocating, be sure to click the link below and request a copy of my free relocation guide. I'm Maria Diora with eXp Realty, and I'll see you in the next video.